It's quiz time. Welcome to BusinessLine Cerebration 2021, one of India's premier corporate quiz championship in its enthralling 18th edition. And I am Ajay Punya with a heart filled with pride hosting this completely virtual edition. In its preliminary rounds that lasted a week, over 6,000 corporate executives, business professionals, B school students, and MBA aspirants participated from all across the country. Today, in our third week of competition, in our fourth of 6 regional rounds, we have 6 extremely fine quizzers promising a battle for the ages. So, buckle up as they stand a chance to lay their hands on the most coveted intellectual title and take home prize money worth rupees 1.5 lakhs. There's first prize of rupees 75,000, second of rupees 50,000, and third prize of rupees 25,000. That is magnificent, isn't it? Time now to welcome our Namma Bengaluru regional round participants. And I do recognize that the last statement was a bit redundant, but forgive me, I'm just a bit nervous looking at the years of experience that this bunch brings with them in today's show. As participant 1 from ZS is Abhijit Balachandra. As participant number 2 from Capgemini is Setu Madhavan. Joining him as participant number 3 from Adobe is Sanish Samuel. Then as participant number 4, also from Capgemini, is Ravi Shankar Saha. Then as participant number 5 from Accenture is Ronisha Das. And finally, completing the lineup is a technology consultant, Yogesa Metla. Right, welcome all of you. There they are, the 6 stars of the show, but only one will shine brightest by the time we're done with today's 4 rounds of quizzing. Coming from Chennai, Kochi, and Hyderabad, we've identified 3 national finalists, and with Bengaluru, we complete our southern Indian regional rounds before we head north to Delhi and then finally to Mumbai. I would now like to invite Mr. Raghuveer Srinivasan, the editor BusinessLine, to address and welcome our participants and audiences. Sir, please.
Hello, everyone. BusinessLine is a newspaper known for its thought leadership. It is read by decision makers, policy makers, CEOs, CXOs, and the high profile readership that it has. We have an annual event called Cerebration, BusinessLine Cerebration Quiz. It is well known in the quizzing circles, and quiz aficionados have participated in the past, and they have made it a success. It's back this year. Cerebration, BusinessLine Cerebration is back this year with its 18th edition. This time it'll be in a virtual format. And, I invite all you brainiacs, whether you're corporate executives, business professionals, B school students, or MBA aspirants, to come and showcase your knowledge and, participate and compete with the best in the quizzing business in this country. You will not be, we will reward you well for your efforts. You stand a chance to win the most coveted intellectual title and take home prize money worth up to 1.5 lakh rupees. The first prize will get 75,000, the second prize 50,000, and the third 25,000. The format is such that you'll be asked to answer 25 questions to qualify for the regional rounds. From August 14th till 22nd, the top 6 teams from each regional round will compete to reach the finals. On 28th August, the winners of the regionals from the 6 cities will battle for the coveted title of the most brainy person in India, or the best quizzer in India, whichever way you want to see it. So come along, pit your talent against the best in the business, and go back home with not just pride, but with also a lot of knowledge.
Right. As he said, pitch yourself against the best in the business. The best have gotten here together. Thank you, sir. I would be failing in my duties if I do not acknowledge and express my gratitude to our partners who made the Cerebration Corporate Quiz 2021 possible. The title sponsor, Union Bank of India. The program is powered by CFA Institute and is brought to you in association with Manage Engine. Thank you all. And now I would request Mr. D. Chandramohan Reddy, General Manager of Union Bank of India, Bengaluru, to take the stage and address our participants.
Good morning to everyone. Union Bank of India is proud to be associated with BusinessLine Corporate Quiz 2021 as presenting sponsor. We are one of the top 5 public sector banks in India with a balance sheet size of over 15 lakh crores. We have a branch network of over 9,300 branches across the country. We have branches in 3 foreign countries as well. The Hindu BusinessLine Group is a leading, well-known and reputed media conglomerate in South India. Both of us, that is BusinessLine Hindu Group and Union Bank of India, both of us strongly believe in discovering and encouraging young minds who have the passion to compete and win. Today's quiz is an excellent opportunity to all the contestants to display their talent and knowledge. I wish all the contestants all the very best and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir. All right, then, participants, you know what the script is for today's quiz. I've come prepared with what I think are difficult questions, and you will happen to deflate my ego by hitting the buzzer in the very first second. And amongst the 6 of you, the points attached to all the 27 questions will be split. You've all done this many a times before in your lives as quizzers, made a name for yourselves as role models for up and coming quizzers, and made us quiz masters look like amateurs. That's right. Do that again today. And I promise one of you will get to do action replay in a week from now in the national final. Let us begin round number 1. This round is called Truth Seeker. Here is statement number 1 on the buzzer, common to everyone on your screen now. The 2 logos of Hamdard, established in 1906 by Hakim Hafiz Abdul Majid in Delhi, exist because one son went to Pakistan and set up Hamdard Pakistan, and the other stayed back in India and continued Hamdard India. True or false? First on the buzzer is Ronisha from Accenture. What is your answer? True or false?
I would say this is true.
You think this is true? Moving on to the next person on the buzzer, and that is Sanish. Sanish, do you agree or disagree with Ronisha saying true? Sanish, you're muted.
Yeah, I agree with Ronisha.
You agree. Moving on to the next person on the buzzer, and that is Abhijit. Abhijit, agree or disagree with true?
I'll agree as well.
You agree as well? All right, let's see if that is correct. I can't really ask you why, because all 3 of you think that this is true. Let's take a look. This is indeed correct. That's the answer. Well done there. Hakim Muhammad Saeed, one of the sons, migrated to Pakistan, started Hamdard Pakistan, and Hakim Abdul Hamid stayed back and continued with Hamdard India, and also founded the university Jamia Hamdard. So well done there, all 3 of you. Ronisha, that's a +10, and well done Sanish on agreeing with her. So you get a 6, and of course Abhijit, well done on agreeing as well. You get 3. So 10 to Ronisha, 6 to Sanish, and 3 to Abhijit. Right, well done, all 3 of you. Moving on, here is question number 2. Ford Motor Company wasn't Henry Ford's first attempt at creating an automobile manufacturer. He left his first company, General Motors, due to disagreements with the investors Lemuel Bowen and William Murphy. True or false? First on the buzzer is Ravi from Capgemini. Yes, Ravi?
I think this is false.
You think this is false? All right. We'll move on to the next person on the buzzer, and that is Ronisha. Ronisha, agree, disagree with false?
I will agree with Ravi, sir.
You agree. Moving on to the next person on the buzzer, and that is Yogesa. Agree or disagree with false? Yogesa, you're muted.
Yeah, I agree.
You agree. All right, I'll ask Yogesa, why do you agree?
No, but I know he was never involved with GM from the beginning. Ever.
Okay, let's ask Ronisha. Ronisha, why do you think this is false? Okay, no clear reason there. But anyway, let's ask Ravi. Ravi, why did you say false in the first place?
I think this is not the Henry Ford. It will be Walter Chrysler or somebody, or maybe not General Motors, some other companies.
Okay, so you're saying that maybe one of the 2-3 facts that I've put in there is wrong. Okay, so you've tried to cover all your bases. Okay, let's see what the right answer is. The right answer is indeed false, because not General Motors, the Murphy and Lemuel were both connected with Cadillac. So his first venture in the automobile manufacturing space was eventually what became Cadillac, which was taken over by General Motors later when William Durant came about. But all I was looking for in terms of distribution of points was whether this was true or false. It was indeed false. So that's well done, Ravi. That's 10 to you. Ronisha, you agreed with him, so you get a 6. And Yogesa, you agreed with him as well, so you get 3. So 10 Ravi, 6 Ronisha, and 3 Yogesa. Right, well done, all 3 of you. We haven't really had any incidents worth reporting in the first 2 questions. Okay, we'll move on. Question number 3. This was an early web browser that was licensed to Mozilla Firefox that started out as a project in 1994 by Thomas Reardon, a developer at Mozilla. True or false? Who's gone for it first? It's Ravi again as the first one. True or false, Ravi?
I think this is true.
You think this is true. Moving on to the next one on the buzzer, and that is Abhijit from ZS. Abhijit, Ravi says true. Agree or disagree?
I'll agree with this.
You will agree. All right. Moving on to the next person on the buzzer, and that is Setu from Capgemini. Agree or disagree with your colleague from Capgemini? He says true.
Agree.
You agree. All right, so nothing really for me to ask. All 3 of you think that this is true. Let's take a look at the answer. The right answer is false. It wasn't Mozilla. It was Internet Explorer. Right, so that's a negative all across, starting with Ravi, -5, Abhijit, -5, and Setu, that's a -5. Yet again, perhaps you followed the pattern that we saw in the first 2 questions where everybody agreed with each other and accumulated points. Unfortunately, people did agree with each other, but this time they couldn't score points, they lost points. Right, so this was Internet Explorer, nothing to do with Mozilla. Thomas Reardon was a developer at Microsoft, right? So that's why this is false, -5 to all 3 of you, Ravi, Setu, and Abhijit. Okay, this question was brought to you by our partners, Manage Engine, who I'm sure if they're watching this wouldn't be too happy. The first question that was sponsored, people started losing points. Question number 4 now on your screen. Here it is. The diamond theory of national advantage was given by Peter Drucker and describes a nation's competitive advantage in the international market. True or false? First on the buzzer is Ravi again. Yes, Ravi. Mixed results in the past.
I think this is true.
You think this is true. Moving on to the next one on the buzzer, and that is Abhijit. Yes, Abhijit.
I'll disagree with.
He said true and you disagreeing. Okay. Moving on to the next person on the buzzer, and that is Yogesa. Yes, Yogesa.
Agree.
So Ravi said true and you're agreeing. However, Abhijit disagreed. Okay. So I will have to ask Abhijit, why are you disagreeing?
I'm really not sure. Just trying something different.
Just trying something new. Okay, because you got bored of everybody agreeing to this, everybody displaying compliant behavior, agreeing with each other. So this time you decided to disagree. I'm not sure if that's an appropriate strategy, but nevertheless, we'll see what happens. So Ravi said true, Yogesa agreed, however, Abhijit disagreed. And as a result, Abhijit gets +10 because it isn't attached with, it wasn't a theory given by Peter Drucker, but by Harvard's Michael Porter. So that's well done, Abhijit. Although I'm not too sure of your reasoning though, and I'm sure that you're not sure either, but as long as it works in your favor, Abhijit, well done. Plus 10 to you. That's a -5 Ravi and -5 Yogesa, both of you accumulating negatives. This question was brought to you by our partners, our title sponsor, Union Bank of India. Right. So well done, Abhijit. 10 to you, Yogesa -5, Ravi -5. We move on to our next question, number 5. Shell was recently made to pay 111 million for an oil spill that took place over 50 years ago during the Biafran War. True or false? First on the buzzer is Ravi again. Yes, Ravi?
I think this is true.
Okay, you think this is true. Moving on to the next one on the buzzer, and that is Ronisha. Ronisha, do you agree, disagree with true?
I'll agree with Ravi, sir.
You agree. All right, moving on to the next person on the buzzer, that is Abhijit. Agree, disagree with Ravi? He said true.
I'll also agree.
You will agree?
Yeah.
Last time you did not, and you scored a few points. But this time you agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like how they say in cricket, you play as per the ball. You know, not everything has to be hit out of the park. All right, let's see if this time, Abhijit, you're correct as well. That is correct. That's the answer. So well done, all three of you. Ravi, that's a 10. Ronisha, that's a 6. And Abhijit, well done. That's a +3 to you. So this is indeed true. So for something that happened 50 years ago, they were asked to pay a $100+ million fine. Shell, however, said that it never really got a chance to defend itself against the substance of the claims, and earlier this year initiated international arbitration against Nigeria over the same case. So I just thought that I would let everybody know that there is another side to the story as well. Right, so well done, all three of you. Ravi 10, Ronisha 6, Abhijit 3. Moving on to our next question, that's number 6. Companies generally deal with rising costs of raw materials in 3 ways. The first 2 are well documented: raising prices, aka inflation, and shrinking size of products, aka shrinkflation. But more recently, there have been cases of swapping more expensive ingredients for cheaper ones. This is called swapflation. True or false? Yet again, Ravi's gone for it first. Yes, Ravi.
I think this is false.
You think this is false? Moving on to the next person, and that is Sanish. Ravi said false. Agree, disagree?
I disagree with Ravi.
You disagree. All right. Moving on to the next participant, and that is Abhijit. Agree, disagree with Ravi? Ravi said false.
I'll also disagree.
You also disagree. Okay, Abhijit, you're in a love-hate relationship of sorts with Ravi. So this time I will have, because Ravi said false, so I'll have to ask Ravi. Ravi, why do you think this is false?
I think some technicality, some terms you have changed here and there. So
Do you want to identify which one?
Either of the two, shrinkflation or swapflations kind of things. You maybe swap it.
Maybe, okay. All right, let's see if what Ravi is saying is correct or if what Sanish and Abhijit think is correct. Actually, this was true, Ravi. So that's a -5 to you, and +10 to Sanish, and a +6 to Abhijit. Okay, well done. Abhijit 6, Sanish +10, and Ravi -5. Ravi trying to give all the answers on the very first go, but I don't know, that's a mixed strategy for him. Okay, we move on to number 7. Here is question number 7. Rookie is a Finnish architectural firm that created the unbelievable challenge to crowdsource a logistics facility for e-commerce giants like Amazon, who need smooth supply in harsh winter conditions and a huge storage space as the items need to get in the distribution cycle at a frantic pace. True or false? First on the buzzer is Ravi.
I think this is false.
You think this is false? We move on to the next one on the buzzer, and that is Ronisha. He said false. Do you agree, disagree?
I would agree with Ravi, sir, and I would say this is false.
Okay, so you agree as well. All right, there is no third person on the buzzer, so we'll close it here. I will ask Ronisha first. Ronisha, why do you think this is false?
I don't think Amazon was ever in touch with any firm for creating logistics.
Okay, what does Ravi think?
I think this must be some other company apart from Rookie. I never heard about Amazon and Rookie tie-up kind of things. So I think, okay, you have changed.
Well, Ravi banking on his extremely detailed knowledge of Amazon and Finnish architectural firms, but we'll see. So both of them think this is false. The answer is indeed false because they weren't really created. The unbelievable challenge wasn't for e-commerce giants of Amazon or anyone, but actually for Santa Claus, right? So because there's he has to distribute logistics, right? As soon as, you know, it's Christmas season, she has to get it done quickly. Finland, you know, Arctic Circle, that's the area, that's the region. So, and this person attached, associated with Rookie, the Finnish architectural firm, for the sake of this challenge, identifies himself as an investor and calls himself Santa Claus, right? So that's what I was looking for. Well done. That is a plus 10 to Ravi and a plus 6 to Ronisha. Well done to the both of you. We'll move on now to our next question, the final question of round 1. Here is number 8. To avoid loud booming sound when they exited the tunnels, the engineers modeled the shape of the front of the Japanese bullet trains, as you can see here, after the head and the beak of a pelican. True or false? This time it's Yogesa who's gone for it first. Yogesa, true or false?
False. False.
False. Okay. Moving on to the next one on the buzzer, who's gone for it next, and that is Ravi. Yes, Ravi? He said false.
I disagree with him.
You disagree. Okay. Moving on to the next one on the buzzer, and that is Abhijit. Yogesa said false. Do you agree, disagree?
I'll agree with this.
You agree. Why does Abhijit agree? Why do you think this is false? This time again, might I remind everyone, do not agree with Ravi. Okay, so that continues. Anyway, Abhijit, why do you think this is false?
Yeah, it seems like a convincing statement. I mean, head in the beak of a pelican. So.
Okay, let's go to Yogesa. Why did you say false in the first place?
This is a duckbill platypus, or they use some other app, not a pelican. Pelicans are not known for their aerodynamic or aerodynamic properties.
Okay, pelicans are not really known for displaying aerodynamic behavior. All right, let's see what the right answer is. Ravi disagreeing with the two of you, but Ravi, unfortunately, that is this is false because the head and beak was modeled or inspired by a kingfisher, right, and not really a pelican. As Yogesa said, it's not aerodynamic enough with all that bulge on the beak. So Yogesa, well done. That's a plus 10 to you. Ravi, unfortunately, minus 5, and Abhijit, that's a plus 6. That brings us to the end of round 1. We'll take a look at the scores. But this was a wonderful, wonderful round 1. I hope all of you watching this quiz have thoroughly enjoyed the way, the different directions in which this round flowed, and most noticeably, you know, the association or the relationship that is developing between Abhijit and Ravi, not really agreeing with each other every time, but more often than not, that if my mental calculation is correct, more often than not, it really worked in Abhijit's favor, not quite so in case of Ravi. Time now for us to take a look at the scoreboard after the end of round 1. Abhijit, currently you are on 23. Setu, you are on minus 5, just one answer. Unfortunately, that was wrong. Sanish, you are on 16. Ravi, with perhaps an answer coming in almost all the questions, you are at 10. Okay, that's interesting. Ronisha, you are currently leading with a score of 28. And Yogesa, you are on 8. Right, so Ronisha, 28. Abhijit on 23. So because the next round we'll play in ascending order of scores, so we will start the next round with Setu. Okay, so Setu, you're on minus 5. We'll start with you. Let's move on to round number 2. Long way to go. Lots of points to be scored. Lots of answers to be had from all these participants. This round is called Friend in Need, and lots of friendships perhaps to be built. All right. Let's start. First question to Setu, if you're ready. Setu, this is your direct, so you can just sit back, unmute yourself, and try to give the right answer. Implemented last year, both the Curry's Law and Raybaum Act deal with the same issue. The former is named after Curry Hunt, who was killed by her husband in a motel room in 2013, while her daughter tried to help her, albeit unsuccessfully. Together, what do the two pieces of legislation aim to do? So Raybaum Act stands for Repack Airwaves Yielding Better Access for Users of Modern Services Act of 2018. Right. So other countries are pretty proficient at constructing acronyms. Nobody on the buzzer yet, Setu, so you can just give me a guess, no negatives. 3 seconds, Setu.
I chose to pass.
You just say pass. There was no negative though, but nevertheless, you still said pass, and there was nobody really interested to give the answer on the buzzer either. So I will declare what the right answer is. Both the two laws and the acts deal with providing public with access to 9/11 emergency services. So the Curry's Law was essentially this lady, Curry Hunt, was unfortunately killed by her husband, and her daughter was trying to call 911 from a motel room. But generally, when you're in such large establishments like offices and hotels, you first have to dial a number before you're reaching out to an external party, right? So the daughter was trying to dial 911, but to unlock an external receiver, the motel required you to dial 9 first. So she essentially had to dial 9911, but because she couldn't do that, she was always trying to dial 911 and it wouldn't go anywhere. So as a result of which help couldn't arrive, and she was killed. Right. And so is the case with Raybaum Act. Raybaum Act in similar situations, in large entities where there is an internal telephone connection, Raybaum Act has to allow you to give these specific locations. So you're in a building and there is some emergency that is needed. So as per the Raybaum Act, you also have to tell that, it's on the 10th floor, towards the second room on the right or something like that, right? So you have to specify the location as well. So that is what the two acts were. All I was looking was for something to do with 9/11, and I would have given you points. We'll move on now to our second question. Yogesa, if you're ready. N26, or number 26, as it was called before it acquired a banking license, is a German neobank that is backed by Peter Thiel's Valar Ventures, among others. They started out with the intention of solving the problems of traditional banks, and that is why they named their venture inspired by a 26-move solution to what problem first appearing in 1970s Europe? No negatives.
I'm going to ask for help.
There's no help. Nobody wants to help you. I'm sorry.
26-move solution.
Okay, I'll have to close this, giving you more than enough time. Nobody wanting to help you out either. So N26, or number 26, comes from, like I said, a 26-move solution to what problem first appearing in the 1970s Europe. This problem or puzzle first appeared in Hungary. This is Rubik's Cube. So it can be solved. So 26 moves is the least amount of moves that you have to make to solve a Rubik's Cube. So that's where it comes from. It was figured out in a paper in 2007 by these two Northeastern University professors. 26 moves suffice for Rubik's Cube. This question was brought to you by our title sponsors, Union Bank of India. We move on to our next question. That's number 3 to Ravi. Okay, here is your question. Here's your question. Described as a distinctly modern take on boho chic, this collaboration was sold out within minutes. However, not all were impressed. The Dastkari Hath Samiti called them out for only focusing on consumers while ignoring traditional artisans whose proprietary techniques were allegedly used. Who were the collaborators? You have help available?
I don't need help, Ajay. I don't need help. Okay, right. So the collaborators here are Shobhusachi and H&M.
Shobhusachi and H&M. Those are your two answers. Sanish was interested in helping you out. Let's ask Sanish. Sanish, what would you have helped Ravi with?
I would have said the same.
You would have said the same thing. Let's see if that is correct. That is indeed correct. Well done, Ravi. That's a +10 to you. Direct question, direct answer gets you a 10. Nothing to Sanish. I just casually wanted to know what Sanish thinks. Right, and you thought it correct as well, Sanish. You can just give yourself a pat on the back. No points, unfortunately. Okay, Sanish, this is your question. Try to give this one and you'll get a +10. All right, here's your question, Sanish. Others on the buzzer. Earlier this year, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang stood in his kitchen and delivered the keynote address for the 2021 GPU Tech Conference. In it, how did NVIDIA showcase their product Omniverse, which they call as the world's first simulation and collaboration platform that delivers the foundation of the metaverse? You have help available from Ravi, Sanish, if you want.
No, I don't need help.
Okay. Your answer is?
This was done through that the Facebook Horizon meeting place, like Horizon meeting through Oculus.
Facebook Horizon meeting through Oculus. I'm afraid, Sanish, that is incorrect. That's a -5 because help was available and you ignored. -5, Sanish. Ravi, I need your answer for +5 and -5.
I will say this is some social media's virtual reality. Through that, okay, they have he has.
So Sanish said Facebook, so you're just sort of covering your bases and saying some social media.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There was nobody else on the buzzer, so I will declare the answer. The right answer is, it wasn't actually Jensen Huang. It was just a CGI or a deep fake or a digital double of him in the kitchen. So everything was a digital double or a deep fake of him. So this is how they wanted to, it was like a show and tell. So exactly wanted to tell people, this is how it works. This is how real it looks. Right. So that was the answer. I needed, any of these terms, CGI, deep fake, digital avatar or something like that of the CEO. The answer was right there in the visual as well. Although the NVIDIA team was pretty good, and so you couldn't actually see it was a CGI or a deep fake of him. That's a -5 to both of you, Ravi, as well as Sanish. This was the answer that I was looking for. And this question was brought to you by our partners, Manage Engine. We move on now to our next question that will be a direct to Abhijit.
Sure.
All right, here is your question, everybody else on the buzzer. Volkswagen CEO Herbert Diess recently rage posted on LinkedIn about the lack of premium charging experience with Ionity while on tour to Italy. He said, out of service, broken charging point, a sad state of affairs. It was anything but a premium charging experience, Ionity. My question is, what was ironic about the Volkswagen boss dissing Ionity publicly? In the visual is basically the German of this, but I don't think there's an answer to the question really. It just is basically what he said in German. Okay, I've translated the major part of it for you. Nobody, okay, now we do have Yogesa who's there on the buzzer to help you out. Do you want help, Abhijit?
Sure, yeah, I'll take it.
All right, Yogesa, what is your answer? You're muted, Yogesa.
The VW Group own Ionity.
Can you please say that again?
The VW Group own Ionity.
All right, Abhijit, he says the VW Group own Ionity. Do you accept or reject?
In the same. Sure, I'll accept.
You will accept? Okay, are you hoping that this is correct, or do you think now this makes sense?
That's what I was thinking. So I mean,
you were also thinking in that direction. Okay, let's see if that is correct. That is indeed correct. So Volkswagen is a co-owner of Ionity alongside the BMW Group, Daimler, Ford, and Hyundai, who were the most recent stakeholders. So that's well done, Yogesa. That's a +5. And very good, Abhijit, for accepting the answer. So this was pretty ironic. The fact that VW boss dissing publicly on a LinkedIn comment, really, not even making a public statement on his own post, but just commenting on somebody else saying that, yeah, the experience wasn't great. But he perhaps has the option to make the experience better. So well done to the both of you. Abhijit, do you have a message for Yogesa?
Thanks a lot.
All right, great. So this is why this round is called Friend in Need. That's 5 points to Yogesa, 5 points to Abhijit. And we move on to our final question to Ronisha.
Yes.
Okay, here is your question, Ronisha. Everybody else on the buzzer. This German environmental organization gives out 2 awards every year called the Blue Planet Award for actions that are deemed to be protecting the environment, and the Dead Planet Award given to those deemed to be destroying it. The latter last year, that is Dead Planet Award, was given to which business leader? And this is the citation: promoting oppression, exploitation, human rights violations, destruction of nature, and social misery. Which business leader? There's nobody yet on the buzzer to help you out, Ronisha. So you can give me an answer now without fearing negative.
I would say Elon Musk.
You will say Elon Musk. Okay. Ronisha, why do you think this would be Elon Musk? Look at the citation. Why do you think this would be Elon Musk? Is that something that you would associate Elon Musk with? If so, why?
No idea, just
come on, say controversial things. As this program is live streamed to everyone, give us your controversy, fill us in with some conspiracy.
No. I would just go with against Elon Musk.
All right, okay, let's take a look at the answer. There was nobody on the buzzer. The right answer is not Elon Musk, but Jeff Bezos. So this is Jeff Bezos is what I was looking for. So no negatives, Ronisha. Nothing to lose there. But that brings us to the end of round 2 as well. We won't take a look at the scores right now, but we will certainly thank our partners that make this the Hindu Business Line Celebration Corporate Quiz possible year after year, starting with our title sponsor, Union Bank of India. The program is powered by CFA Institute and is brought to you in association with Manage Engine. And also, our associate partner, BSc IPE. So thank you to each one of you for making this program possible. And I'm sure our participants alongside everybody watching it live stream and also all the television audiences would perhaps be really excited and really thankful for these partners to make this program possible. We move on now to round number 3. You've all been watching each other closely, tracking the performance, not just of your own self, but also of your competitors, and that will come to use in this round. This round is called Saving Grace. All right, everyone, here is your first question. It's on the buzzer, common to all of you. First question, round 3. The first time this brand reached number 1 on camera brands used in the Flickr community chart was back in 2009. And since then, it has been so dominant that now all the 5 cameras in this chart today are different models by the same brand. Which brand is this? It's the yellow graph, if you're looking at the visual closely. Right? Which one? On the buzzer is Rabi from Capgemini. Yes, Rabi, which brand?
Leica.
Leica. All right. I'm afraid, Rabi, that is incorrect. We'll move on to the next person on the buzzer, and that is your colleague from Capgemini.
I think he will give the right answer.
Hold on, Rabi. Let me put that question to you. Let me flower it with all the language and put that question to you. Rabi, what do you think your colleague will do? Will he save you on this?
Yeah, he will.
He will. So he will give the right answer is what you think?
Yeah.
Okay, Setu, what is your answer?
I'll say Fuji.
You will say Fuji. All right, Rabi, let me break it to you. That's a -5. Okay, and we move on to the next person on the buzzer. It's the final one that we have, and that is Yogesa. Setu, what do you think Yogesa will do? Will he give the right answer or no?
No.
No. Okay, Yogesa. Nobody has any expectations from you. Give your answer.
I'm going to guess the iPhones.
You're going to guess the iPhone? All right. So now you think that all the 5 cameras in this chart today are different models by iPhone. Let's take a look. And there's nobody after you, Yogesa, so I can't move on. So let's take a look at the answer. The right answer is indeed iPhone. That's well done, Yogesa. In 2021, and in fact, over the last few years, not just in the first time when it appeared in the charts was in 2009. But over the last few years, it's been all the models of different models of iPhone. The iPhone 6, 6S, 5S, 7, 7 Plus. This is as it stands today. So well done, Yogesa. That's a plus 10 to you for giving the right answer while ignoring the lack of, perhaps the lack of expectations, the burden of lack of expectations, worked in your favor, with not taking credit away with the fact that you really knew this, though, but just for some fun and games. Unfortunately, Setu, you don't think too highly of your friend Yogesa. You get a -5 for that, and Ravi, you also get a -5. So -5 Ravi, -5 Setu, but a +10 to Yogesa. That's well done, Yogesa. We move on to our next question. One of my personal favorites from the quiz. I really like this question. Let's see if you can crack this. Here is question number 2. In 2010, Granta published a satirical piece, How to Write About Pakistan, by Pakistani writers like Muhammad Hanif. The first rule, must have X. The rest of the 9 points were also about X, right? How to write about Pakistan. X has always been in the front line of Pakistan's politics and diplomacy, with Pakistan gifting X to India since 1980s, with India not quite returning the favor, despite being X's largest producer. What is this X in question? Right, we have our first person on the buzzer, and that is Rabi. Yes, Rabi. Please unmute and answer. Rabi, quick.
Yeah, I will say this is mango.
You will say this is mangoes.
Yeah.
So you think India is the largest producer of mangoes?
Yeah.
It must have mangoes, and everything else was about mangoes. Mangoes has been a front line of Pakistan's politics and diplomacy, more well known as mango diplomacy. Absolutely. That's the answer that I was looking for. Well done there, Rabi. That's a +10. Very good. It is indeed mangoes. So it's been a long running 30 years. Yeah, 30 years of diplomacy. They've also been trying to exchange some mangoes, or not exchange, but give some mangoes to India as part of their mango diplomacy. But India hasn't been returning the favors. Right, good answer there, Rabi. +10 to you. We move on to our next question. That is number 3. Launched by JP Morgan Chase in 2019, the Wolffief Index, where Wolffief, portmanteau term, measures the fluctuations in US interest rates due to what unpredictable activity. Their analysts determined the index based on projections from analyzing 14,000 such unpredictable events and found correlation with market movements. First on the buzzer is Abhijit. Yes, Abhijit.
These are Trump's tweets, Donald Trump's tweets.
Donald Trump's tweets. Why would you say that?
So coffee and so on. Right? So if he tweets something, there would be sort of a movement, drastic movement.
All right, let's take a look at the answer. That is indeed correct. So this is indeed Donald Trump's tweets. So Wolffief comes from the term volatility, and Coffeef was a term that he coined in one of his tweets. So which is where the fief part of Wolffief comes from. And this chart incidentally actually shows what the Wolffief index looks like, analyzing 14,000 of his tweets. Right, well done there, Abhijit. That's a +10. And this question was brought to you by our partners, CFA Institute. Right, very good, Abhijit. +10 to you. We move on to our next question. That is number 4. Their 2019-20 budget was 1.6 billion, 464 million from mining, 416 million from drugs, 240 million from foreign countries and individuals, 240 million from exports, 160 million from taxes, 80 million from real estate. What group of students is this that emerged in the 1990s? First on the buzzer is Yogesa. Yes, Yogesa?
It's students, yeah. These are the scholarly Taliban.
What group of students?
The Taliban.
Why would you say that?
Drugs.
Because drugs.
Yeah, Afghanistan is the source of opium and hashish. Yeah.
84% of all the world's opium. All right, you say Taliban. Let's see if that is correct. That is indeed correct. So with a $1.6 billion budget last year, this is the group of students. Talib in Pashto means students. So that is why what group of students that sort of came to popular knowledge in the 1990s is Taliban. That's a good answer there, Yogesa. That is indeed correct. So that gets you 10 points. Very good. Here is number 5 on your screen. In April, AB InBev released an ad looking for a chief tasting officer, offering $20,000 to help them launch a beer for a new category of consumers. The contest was won by a Kentucky-based Ethan. This alcohol-free concoction is a mixture of corn, celery, and a blend of turmeric, ginger, basil, mint, and the broth of a key ingredient enjoyed by this category of consumers. Who is this brew for? A chief tasting officer being offered $20,000. Who was this brew for? First on the buzzer is Ravi. Yes, Ravi.
I will say this is for dogs or pets. These are dog beers.
These are dog beers. So in this new category of consumers, you think is dogs?
Yeah.
Let's see if that is correct. That is indeed correct. That's the answer. Good answer. So this is a dog brew by AB InBev, made for dogs. Has the broth of pork bone, so as part of one of the ingredients. Well done there, and it's non-alcoholic, as the question said. So all you dog lovers, if you're already up in arms tweeting about it, it's non-alcoholic. So that's a good answer there, Ravi. That gets you 10 points, and that brings us to the final question of round number 3. After this, we'll be taking a look at the scores. So here is question number 6. This phrase has been used in reference to Norway virtue signaling, attempting to decrease its footprint while having half its exports in gas and oil. It's the title of a 2002 book in the picture, narrating the lives of West Africans in New York City, selling whatever they can to make ends meet. Its origin is Latin pecunia non olet, that is credited to the Roman Emperor Vespasian, who imposed a urine tax that financed the Colosseum. What phrase is this? So the book is subtitled The Africanization of New York City by Paul Stoller. Right, still waiting for somebody on the buzzer. What phrase is this? Right, nobody going for it on the buzzer. The time has run out. The right answer that I was looking for is money has no smell, or money does not stink, right? So that's the title of the book. Money has no smell. Norway, virtue signaling about climate change and being good about the climate, but essentially exporting most of their exports, majority of their exports are in gas and oil products. Urine tax. When Vespasian was asked about it, so he said, money has no smell. And what was the third one? Yeah, the book. The book is titled Money Has No Smell, with all the businesses that these West Africans are involved in. This question was brought to you by our partners, CFA Institute. Thanks to them, this question was made possible, and this program was made possible. That brings us to the end of round 3 as we get ready to take a look at where we are on the scoreboard as we head into our final round. We will take a look at the scoreboard after the end of the 3 rounds now. Right, so scores as follows. Abhijit currently at 38, Setu right now at -10, Sanish is on 11, Ravi is on 30, Ronisha still stays at 28 with no answers coming after the last 2 rounds in round 2 and round 3, and Yogesa is currently at 33. So it's just 10 points is the margin between the first and the fourth participant. Currently leading is Abhijit with 38, and currently fourth is Ronisha with 28. There's Ravi third at 30. Yogesa is currently second at 33. So this is turning out to be a very delightful Bengaluru regional round. It's anybody's game, although Setu and Sanish, who are some distance behind, can also come back and give themselves an opportunity to win this quiz as well, because there are lots of points to be scored in our final round. It's called Double Trouble. Let's start. Here is the first visual common to everyone on your screen now. I'm looking for a clothing item. What item of clothing that got its English name in the 1860s, got its Spanish name Rebecca from a 1938 Daphne du Maurier novel that was made into a film by Alfred Hitchcock, whose poster you see here, whose protagonist had a penchant for these? What item of clothing? got its Spanish name Rebecca. The poster is from an Alfred Hitchcock film. What item of clothing? Anybody going for it? 8-letter answer. Nobody showed any interest. So the question goes a begging. The right answer that I was looking for was, anybody wants to take a guess? No points?
The cardigan
Is correct. Yeah, so this was indeed cardigan. That's the answer that I was looking for. The lead actor had, the protagonist had a penchant for wearing a cardigan in the film. And of course, that was inspired by the novel. So in both of them, this, the person that you see in the visual is the Earl of Cardigan, after whom the piece of clothing cardigan is named. He is James Brudenell. All right, so that's the end of the first question of our final round. There are 6 more questions to go. You're all closely bunched together on the scoreboard, so this is turning out to be very interesting. As more and more questions go unanswered, the opportunity for the participants, which are some distance away from the leaders, your opportunity to win this quiz will also diminish. So perhaps, you know, even if you don't want to double your answers, perhaps it's a good time for you to start taking, you know, more risks than what the others can afford to, right? Okay, here is your second question. Sorry, this is where the cardigan is placed, and I will move on to one down. It starts with the letter C of cardigan. So it starts with the letter C, and we go down. So it's 8 letters. So 8-letter answer I'm looking for that starts with the letter C. Here is your question, everyone. This is the oldest example of what? Dated 89 BCE. We already have the first person on the buzzer, and that is Ravi. Yes, Ravi?
This is a chronograph.
Oh, damn it.
Say that again.
Chronograph.
Can you spell it for me?
Chronograph, CHRONOGRAPH.
All right, that is incorrect, Ravi. That's a -5. We'll move on to the next person on the buzzer, and that is Yogesa. Yes, Yogesa?
Double.
You will double.
Calendar.
And your answer
Double
is?
and calendar. Calendar.
Calendar. All right, I will complete my question. Dated 89 BCE, the Antikythera determined the time based on the movements of the sun and the moon, their relationship, eclipses, and the movements of other stars and planets known at that time. It consists of a complex system of 30 wheels and plates with inscriptions relating to signs of the zodiac, months, eclipses, and pan-Hellenic games. What is this the oldest example of? Ravi, you got a wrong answer, so which means you got a -5 just because you didn't double, so you only get a -5. This is the first ever example of a computer and not a calendar. I'm afraid, Yogesa, although sort of ventured into a very similar territory, but this is not recognized as the first calendar. This is recognized as a first computer, more specifically an analog computer. That's a -10, Yogesa, because you doubled. And if I'm not wrong, you were actually leading this quiz, and now you take a -10. But Ravi also takes a -5, so that makes it all the more interesting for the other participants in question. All right, so this is a computer. We'll place computer as 1 down, and we move on to 2 down now. So it's a 4-letter answer. None of the alphabets have been revealed. This is your question, common to everyone on the buzzer. Name the sculpture. My question is, Maurizio Catalan, a well-known satirist in the sculpting world, was commissioned to create this marble structure post the great financial crisis of 2008 and placed in front of Milan Stock Exchange. It was a fascist salute, except all fingers but one were chopped off. Translating to freedom, hate, revenge, and eternity, what is the sculpture's ironic 4-letter name? Translating to freedom, hate, revenge, and eternity, what is the sculpture's ironic 4-letter name? Quick. Right, we do have the first person on the buzzer, and that is Abhijit, just in time. Yes, Abhijit, what is your answer?
Just taking a guess, I'll just say free, F-R-E-E.
Your answer is free.
The free sculpture.
And you haven't decided to double?
No, let's play out default.
Okay, just guessing. So the ironic 4-letter name for freedom, hate, revenge, and eternity, you think is free. I already said freedom though, so that's a -5, Abhijit. But the right answer that I was looking for is love. Comes from liberta, odio, vendetta, and eternita, right? Which translates to freedom, hate, revenge, and eternity. I'll say this again: liberta, odio, vendetta, and eternity, and eternita, right? So this was love, is what I was looking for. Hard luck, Abhijit. That's a -5, but I think you were perhaps playing because of the pressure of the scoreboard. So unfortunately, that didn't work out in your favor, and you get a -5. This round hasn't really started on a positive note for any of the participants, really. We've had 3 different answers coming, and all 3 accumulating negatives. Let's take a look at where love is placed. So this is where love is placed. We move on to 3 across. Here is 3 across to everyone. The U and O are visible. I'm looking for a conflicting name. Even though the project management software was launched back in 2016, searching for their name now is unsurprisingly dominated by a heavily VC-funded startup from last year. And so the founders of the project management software have decided to change their name to Shortcut. What branding conflict is this? You have a U and a O available. It's a 9-letter answer. What branding conflict is this? Quick, anybody? Right. No one going for it. The time has run out. Nobody went for it on the buzzer. Your 15 seconds time, although Sanish did hit the buzzer, but that was a little later than the time that was allocated for the question. So I will not allow Sanish to answer. You had to give the answer earlier than that. You had to press the buzzer earlier than that. But Sanish, if you're interested in giving the answer, no points though.
Is it Clubhouse?
Is it Clubhouse? Yogesa, you also pressed the buzzer.
Yeah, same.
You would have said Clubhouse as well. Let's see. That is correct, right? So this was Clubhouse. So Clubhouse.io is the organization in where the project management software in question. They decided to change it to Shortcut starting September, so a few days from now. And of course, we all know the audio social network that is Clubhouse, which has really dominated the search rankings if you're really searching for Clubhouse, right? So Clubhouse.io doesn't really appear unless you're actually searching for Clubhouse.io or Clubhouse project management software. But that's the answer that I was looking for. Clubhouse, no points to anyone on this one. We move on to our next question. Let's place Clubhouse. Okay. This is where Clubhouse is placed, and we move on to 4 down now. It's a 6-letter answer. None of the alphabets have been revealed. Here is your question. I'm looking for the place. It's a 6-letter answer. This is located in a museum created. We already have Rabi who's gone for it on the buzzer. Yes, Rabi.
I will double it.
You will double.
This is Digboy, where the first oil was found in Assam, in India.
Okay, my question. This is located in a museum created in honor of the centenary of an entity that is Asia's oldest and is still in operation. Which location would you be in if you're visiting it? Your answer is Digboy in Assam. That is correct. Yes. That's the answer, Ravi. That's a +10. And of course, in comes that fist pump because he lost a few points earlier and this time he gets 10, right? So that's well done, Ravi, because you doubled. That's a +10. Still keeps you in good stead for winning this quiz. I don't know where you are on the scoreboard. I'm thoroughly confused in my mental scoreboard, whether that takes Ravi to first place or not. We'll find that out. There are 2 more questions to go. We move on to 5 across, 3 alphabets revealed, I, E, and E. Here is your question. I'm looking for a person in the crossword, the surname goes, and it's a 8-letter surname. Here's my question. Before inventing what changed the face of the world, he authored several books and pamphlets calling for radical changes in America's. We've already had somebody on the buzzer, and that is Setu from Capgemini. Yes, Setu.
I think it's Vivian.
Say that again, please.
Vivian.
Vivian. Okay, I'm afraid, Setu, that is incorrect. We'll move on to the next person on the buzzer, and that is Ronisha. Yes, Ronisha, what is your answer?
Eisenhower.
Eisenhower, I don't think that fits in the crossword. Right, so that's a -5 to Ronisha as well. I will complete my question. Before inventing what changed the face of the world, he authored several books and pamphlets calling for radical changes in America's economic and social system. His utopian socialist ideas called for the establishment of an ideal society to be created by the United Company, where all the population would be concentrated in one gigantic urban complex that he called metropolis.
For non-comp, can I guess it?
No, it's still on the buzzer.
Non-comp.
Not non-comp, it's still on the buzzer. Who is this businessman who published his own pictures on his products? All right, so we do have somebody on the buzzer, and that is...
Yeah, I'm going to double it.
Okay.
I'm going for broke. Gillette, because it fits.
Gillette, because it fits the blanks, and you said that you wanted to double it. All right,
Yeah.
Let's see if that is correct. That is indeed correct. That's the answer. This was King Camp Gillette. Yogesa lost a 10 earlier. You got your 10 back, and perhaps still keeps you in competition. Whether you're still first or second, I have no idea. Absolutely. This is indeed Gillette. Good answer there, Yogesa. That's a +10. Setu, scoreboard pressure, I understand. -5 to you. And Ronisha, that's a -5 to you as well for giving a wrong answer.
Ajay, can we see the score once?
Hold on. Ravi, where was the confusion?
Confusion was, I thought, okay, there was 2 buzzers, okay, and buzzer has been already closed, so that's why.
No, so the buzzer does not close.
I understood. It's my mistake. It's my mistake.
But I'm just in the interest for the final question for everyone. Buzzer doesn't run out till I say so, or even if you don't want to trust me, you can see it on your screen. There's a clock on top left, right? So that runs. Okay. All right. So let's place Gillette. So that's where Gillette is placed.
Can we have the score, Ajay, once?
Can we have it after this one? Okay, because you said you claimed to actually keeping score, so I'm hoping that you know where you are. We'll move on to our final question. It's a 5-letter answer. The second alphabet is on your screen now. 5 years before the City Man was released, the Senator was launched. Although it resembled a radio and weighed 22 pounds and was thus recommended for in-car use. The company released it in partnership with Salora. This was which company's? Right, we do have Ravi who's on the buzzer. Yes, Ravi. Tell me the company. Please unmute and answer. Ravi?
Sony.
5 letters, Ravi. That's a -5. We'll move on to the next person on the buzzer, and that is Yogesa. Yes, Yogesa.
I'm going to double again.
You will double again. All right.
Yep. I'm going for Nokia.
You're going for Nokia. All right. You're having a lot of fun here. All right. Let's hope it works in your favor. There is somebody else also after you on the buzzer, and that is Abhijit. Yes, Abhijit.
I mean, that was also my guess. Nokia.
That was also your guess. Which one? Sony or Nokia?
Nokia.
All right. I'll complete my question. So 5 years before the Cityman was released, the Senator was launched, although it resembled a radio and weighed 22 pounds and was thus recommended for in-car use. The company released it in partnership with Salora. This was which company's first electronic device of its kind that had a history of dabbling with forestry, rubber, and cables. Yogesa said Nokia. Abhijit agrees with him, although the question doesn't pass to Abhijit because this is indeed the Nokia. That's the answer that I was looking for. Well done, Yogesa. Because you doubled, you get a +10. And Ravi, that's a -5 to you for saying Sony. Abhijit, no points to you. I was just just playing with everyone, just playing with Yogesa actually, in all honesty. Right. So good answer there, Yogesh. The answer +10 to you, -5 to Ravi. That brings us to the end of what has been a thrilling Bengaluru regional round. I hope all of you would agree with me. It was a wonderful competition. was a roller coaster of sorts, went one way and the other. We had a leader at the end of round 1 who wasn't quite the leader after the end of round 3, but I don't know who eventually prevailed, because there's only one winner from the Bengaluru regional round that we select for the national final. We've already selected 3 national finalists. Let's see who amongst our 6 competitors today will join in the national final. I thoroughly enjoyed, and I hope all our participants and everybody watching from the comfort of your homes on various live streaming and television platforms that you're witnessing it, all of you enjoyed this. The competitors were brilliant. As I said early, before we actually began this quiz, that I'm eagerly looking forward to this competition, because the magnitude and the quality of participation expected is certainly a battle worth watching. Right, so time now for our final scores. In third place, perpetually part of the action, but couldn't get as many correct as he would have wanted to, is Ravi Shankar Saha from Capgemini, finishing with a score of 30 points. Well done, Ravi. And in second place, a wonderful competitor, had a very interesting bit of opening when we started out, is Abhijit Balachandra from ZS, who finishes with a score of 33. That's well done, Abhijit. And our winner for the day, congratulations. This is Yogesa Metla, a technology consultant who gave a very important final answer, scored a very crucial 10-pointer, and he was really hoping when Ravi pressed the buzzer that he misses, because his palms were sweaty. He was eagerly waiting to give the right answer, which he did, and he doubled. Congratulations, Yogesa Metla. You're our winner from the Bengaluru regional round. Very well done, thoroughly enjoyable performance, and I'm sure it's a performance that you would like to repeat in the national final as you meet some of the other regional round winners from the other cities as well. Right, that's it. That brings us to the end of what has been a wonderful The Hindu Business Line Celebration Corporate Quiz 2021. Congratulations to the winner. Thank you to all the participants from the Bengaluru regional round, and of course to everyone that participated in the preliminary rounds as well. This is Ajay Punya signing out on behalf of the team here at the Cerebration Corporate Quiz 2021. Goodbye and have a wonderful day. I look forward to you joining in to the next regional round that's at Delhi. Goodbye. See you then.